Hello and welcome to the stock market analysis. Well, yesterday we had a very nice rise here, but if you look at the daily chart, it's just one small green candle after a red candle, and of course we are at a support area which is around this is a consolidation support, right? And because of this support area, the S&P 500 is bound to bounce up. And it's still within the 2050 range, okay? And if S&P drops to the 50 MA, we might see it bounce and find support, okay? Now, whether the S&P 500 can move back up really nice up here, we have to look at a shorter time frame. Let's go to the 2-hour chart and let's draw a trend line. If the S&P 500 can break above this trend line, then only I'm convinced that you're going to move higher sustainably in the daily chart. Otherwise, it will just be, trying to find support, going up, selling down, trying to find support. And eventually, it will break this support or break this downtrend line to move up. So that is something you need to consider and take into consideration and be at the back of your mind. So anyway, the rising 50 MA still gives us hope that even if it drops to the 50 MA, we might find support there, and there's a possibility it might bounce up. And for those of you who are new to my analysis, if the S&P 500 is above the rising 50 MA, above the rising 200 MA, we want to continue to stay bullish in the mid-term and long-term. Sometimes it will have growing pains up and down, but eventually if the 200 MA is rising, you can see that the S&P 500 will go up in the long term. So let's look at some the QQQs. Yesterday, tax was the savior. You can see the QQQs found support at the 50 MA. It did not drop below the 50 MA, even though there was a nasty bar here. And yesterday, we have a nice green bar. If you go to the 2-hour chart, you can see that it is trying to break above this downtrend line. And if it continues to do so, well, in the daily chart, we will see it rising. All right, it's not surprising to see it rise. All right, so good that it has found support at the 50 MA, and the 200 MA is rising, telling us that long term we should be bullish on tax. You can see that it has gone up nicely here. Okay, so continue to be bullish in the long term, but of course, if it's able to find support at the 50 MA, we want to continue to be bullish as well in the midterm. Okay, some stocks have been doing well, like NVDA. NVDA has been doing well. I did a separate video and I said you have to watch this support very carefully. Later I'm going to do another video on NVDA, and looks like NVDA is, let's go to the 1-hour chart. NVDA has gone back above all this moving average with something good. We broke above the downtrend line, and if it continues to stay above this 200 MA, we're going to see a new uptrend, and hopefully it breaks above here and really break out higher. Alright, although April might not be a very good month for semis, well, it's just a guide. If it breaks out of this consolidation, this sideways trading, then we can see it move above 1,000. Now, what about the Dow Jones? Dow Jones is still below the 50 MA. That's something which I don't like, but do remember we have support here, very nice support. So even if it drops a bit more, it's going to bound to bounce up, and it's making a very nice downtrend line, and eventually, even if it goes down, once it breaks above the downtrend line, there is a possibility that it's going to rise up very nicely and soon. Alright, we have a bottoming tail which hints that it refuses to go down yesterday. So what I usually like to do is to look at the bottoming tail. If DIA is can trade above the bottoming tail and stay above the lows, then we know that a reversal is very near. Now, what about SMH? SMH is doing really well. I would say it's just consolidating, and eventually this consolidation will lead to either a breakout higher or breakdown. Okay, so if it breaks out higher, then it's going to be very good for semi stocks. Now, one of the stocks I would like you to see is component of Nasdaq, component of Dow, component of S&P 500. It's the Apple, right? The mighty Apple. So it has broken above a downtrend line. Very nice and huge green candle. But don't be fooled. Okay, you need the stock to stay above the downtrend line and above the top half of this candle. Otherwise, it will be something like this, going up and going down again. This is actually a very nice support area. Right? Yeah, this support area, the prior low. So you want to see this support area hold for Apple to break back above the 50 MA and really start a new uptrend in the daily chart. Otherwise, this is just a bear trap, and it may fall further down to around this area. Okay, so if Apple rises from here, stay above the downtrend line, I think it'll be very good for 3 major indexes. So tech sector yesterday also was very nice. Okay, although in danger of a bearish cross, but it's trying to find support. What you can do is you look at the 2-hour chart, see if you can break above this downtrend line, move higher. If it can do so, and if you can stay above this 2-hour 200 MA, then it's likely to move higher. Let me show you gold prices. Gold futures all-time high, right? As I said, if it's above the 20 MA, you still continue to be bullish. Is there weaknesses at this moment? No. Daily chart, rising 20 MA, rising 50 MA. Stay bullish on gold unless it drops below the daily 20 MA. If you take the 1-hour chart as well, it has just broken out of this downtrend line with a double bottom. This is a tradable trade where it breaks above the downtrend line, breaks the middle of the double bottom, and traders can buy here, put a stop loss, ride it higher. Right? These are when an index or stock or stuff or whatever you trade is in an uptrend in the daily chart and the 16-minute chart. There are many ways to make money, especially breaking of downtrend lines or breakouts. So rising 20 MA, rising 50 MA, rising 200 MA. Stay bullish on gold short term unless it drops below these 2 moving averages. Crude oil, I'd like to look at futures. Crude oil futures, yes, it's still in a very nice daily uptrend, staying above the 50 MA to bullish. It's consolidating, maybe making a pennant or flag. And if you look at the 60-minute chart, it is trying to break a downtrend line. If it's able to do so, break above this downtrend line, it will move higher. And it's finding support at the 60-minute 200 MA as well. So that will, if it moves higher, this will be very good for our stocks. You can see why it's trading sideways. It's trying to absorb resistance here and here. But is it in the daily uptrend? Yes, it's already in the daily uptrend. I want to show you the financials because financials, we're going to have reports coming out, earnings. Of course, there'll be some sell-off before the earnings come up, but it's finding support at the rising 50 MA, and that's something good. Alright, if it can go back above the 20 MA, then maybe this is a good area to buy. But well, we'll see whether earnings are good or not in the financial sector, especially JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, and so on. So JP Morgan is still waiting. We'll see whether the earnings in the financial sector can help lift financial stocks. It's at a 20 MA. 2 dojis here show indecision. Well, not surprising considering earnings is around the corner for the financials. So if JP Morgan breaks above this consolidation, it's going to move higher, maybe even go past 205. But of course, if it drops below this consolidation, we know there's weaknesses. It might meet the 50 MA. So Goldman Sachs, I suppose, is also dropping to an area of support, right? Maybe you might find support at the 50 MA as well. And BAC, Bank of America, also correcting, but there's support here, right? Which is around where the it might meet the 50 MA. All right. Now let me just go to stock chart seasonality. Okay. Yeah. Stock chart seasonality is very good, and if we go to XLF, we can see that April and May are good times for the financial sector. 60% going up in April, 75% chance of closing higher in May. So most likely, if banks' earnings are good, it's going to move up as well. So Bank of America, maybe you might find support around here. Now, just look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still doing really well. It's like in a maybe ascending triangle or triangle pattern. Definitely a volatility contraction pattern. So what happens is by the end of maybe around here, sooner or later it will either break out or break down. If it breaks out, well, we're gonna have a very nice run up in Bitcoin. So I hope this analysis has been helpful to you. So do continue to be bullish buyers in the US market at this moment, although sometimes it will have weaknesses and so on. The trend is your friend. We want to be bullish buyers until the trend ends. And if there is a correction somewhere, right, because it's an uptrend, you might want to look for buyable dips. And if it trades sideways, you want to look for continuation patterns. So hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one.